In today's explainer, we're diving deep into a really important topic, the silent but absolutely vital connection between your blood sugar and the health of your kidneys.
To get started, I want you to think about one number. Just one. And that number is 180 liters.
Now what is that? Well, believe it or not, that is the amount of fluid your kidneys filter and recycle every single day. We're not talking about how much water you drink. This is the total volume they process, enough to fill a bathtub. They are, without a doubt, your body's master recyclers.
So let's talk about these master recyclers. What are they actually doing in there all day?
You know, it's easy to think of them as just, waste filters. But their job is so much bigger than that. They're constantly at work, recycling about 99% of your body's water, pulling back vital proteins and nutrients you need, helping to balance your blood pressure, even activating vitamin D and clearing out toxins. It's an incredible list of responsibilities.
So how in the world do they manage all of this? To really get it, we've got to zoom in. Way in, right down to the microscopic level.
And this is what you'd see. This is the nephron. It's the kidney's microscopic filtering unit. And get this, each of your kidneys has over 1 million of these tiny high-tech filters. These are the real workhorses doing the heavy lifting of cleaning your blood second by second.
Okay, so now that we know about the filters, let's bring blood sugar into the equation. How does something as common as sugar put this amazing, delicate system under stress, especially when the damage can be so silent for so long?
Well, it all starts with a chemical process called glycation. Now that might sound complicated, but the idea is actually pretty simple. When there's too much sugar floating around in your blood, it starts to get sticky. It literally attaches itself to proteins, and in the process, it damages their shape and stops them from working the way they're supposed to.
Here's a perfect way to picture it. On the left, you've got a healthy protein. It's flexible, it's doing its job. But on the right, that's a glycated protein. It's become stiff, it's damaged, it's just not functional anymore. And you can imagine why this is such a big problem for those super delicate filter structures inside the nephrons.
And this is absolutely crucial to understand. This damage doesn't happen overnight. It is a slow, silent burn. For the first 5, even 10 years, this glycation process can be happening inside the nephrons with zero obvious signs. Over time, this damage leads to these harmful compounds called AGEs, advanced glycation end products. And as they build up, they slowly wear down the filters. Often, it can be more than a decade before you'd ever feel or see a symptom.
So that's the big question, right? If all this damage is happening so silently for so long, are there any early signals our bodies might be sending us?
Well, one possible early clue actually has to do with your sleep, and it really just comes down to this one question.
The medical term for this is nocturia. And I want to be really clear here. Waking up at night can have many different causes, but it can sometimes be an early sign that the kidneys are starting to struggle a bit with managing your body's fluid balance overnight, and that could be connected to either early kidney stress or an imbalance in blood sugar.
And this is where things really connect. You see, there's often this parallel timeline. Kidney problems and blood sugar problems, they tend to go hand in hand. The early signs can look similar, and they often develop quietly over that same long, multi-year timeline. Okay, so understanding this connection naturally brings up the next big question. What can we do about it? What are some strategies that are often discussed for supporting our overall metabolic health?
When we think about blood sugar, there are really 2 ways to look at it. The first way is about managing the sugar that's already in your system. The other approach, though, is about going straight to the source and asking, can we reduce the amount of excess sugar and refined carbs coming in the first place?
And this leads us to a few strategies that are commonly explored in research for their supportive role. Things like intermittent fasting, say a 16-8 pattern, are studied for the part they might play in metabolic health. Phytonutrients, those powerful compounds you find in colorful salads and vegetables, are associated with antioxidant effects that may help protect the nephrons. Then there are specific things like benfotiamine, which is studied for its potential to reduce the effects of glycation, and turmeric, which is researched for its protective antioxidant properties.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. What's the big takeaway? What is the real path to protection when we put it all together?
It really boils down to this. If you want to protect your kidney function for the long haul, it all starts with understanding and taking care of your metabolic health, and doing it early. The two are just fundamentally connected. It's a direct and really powerful link.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to take with you. This isn't about making massive, overwhelming changes tomorrow. It's simpler than that. The real question is,
How can just a little bit more awareness today make all the difference for your health tomorrow?
And of course, just a quick reminder before we wrap up. Everything we've discussed here is for educational purposes. It is not medical advice. For any questions about your own health or before you make any changes to your lifestyle, please always talk to a qualified healthcare professional.